I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
I knew it. I love when he does that.
Wrestling has more than one royal family.
Gentlemen, in my soul, something, something, Cody Rhodes. I'm the tribal chief around here. Yeah, you see me, the tribal chief. That's right.
Time. But let me go ahead and tell you.
Shut your bitch ass up.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 492 of the Hoots Podcast here on this Friday, November 21st, 2025. It's your truly the nefarious one, the one and only, Brother Adam, a.k.a. Joshie Lopez. Hope you guys enjoyed your week so far. As always, I want to say hello. Hey, how you doing? And want to mention really quick before we get into plugs. Yes, the Hoots Podcast is on our countdown to 500 episodes, which will be our final edition of the Hoots Podcast. If you would like to participate in episode 500 of the Hoots Podcast, please send me an audio shout-out in an MP3 file to the Hoots Podcast at gmail.com. That's the Hoots with an S podcast at gmail.com. It can be as long as you want. If you want to send me audio shout-outs to be on this last episode for episode 500, send it there to the Hoots Podcast at gmail.com. Lots to discuss this week, as always, as we're on the road to WarGames, is coming up a week from tomorrow, closing up a very, very long and treacherous November. Man, I'm just ready to get out of this freaking city. Anyways, I am Joshie. You can hit me up on X if you like at the Hoots Podcast, Instagram at Josh Lopez Music. Please check out my not guitar covers, but excuse me, Floridian slip there. Make sure to check out my transcripts, my mainline work at the results section of WrestlingHeadlines.com. Or my website, ProWrestlingTranscriptions.com, as I'll be covering WarGames next Saturday. So I'm looking forward to it. So we'll get through all that, talk about John Cena's final Monday Night Raw this week in WWE. We're going to hear from John Cena as well, as he was a guest on the Raw Recap podcast with Sam Roberts and Megan Morant. So I'll play that piece of audio for you guys as well, and then we'll get into the Back Porch Q&A session as we usually do. So, yeah, we are, after today, we'll have 7 more of these episodes. So, we're hitting the stretch run here, guys. I love you all. I love the fact that you guys are still rocking with us. We're doing some really good stuff on the YouTube end right now that I've been seeing recently, so that's been nice to see. Currently, we're at 920 subscribers, which is awesome. If there's any way we can get the podcast to 1,000 subscribers before I close the book on this podcast and we have our final episode, that'd be awesome. We need 80 more subscribers to hit 1,000. That'd be a full circle moment for me and for the podcast, and I would deeply, deeply appreciate it. And usually when it comes to the podcast, Hoots, you can get it anywhere you want. It comes to you free of charge every single Friday. To type in the Hoots Podcast, it comes to you on Amazon, just a whole lot of different places. So make sure to check out the Hoots Podcast audio version, and make sure to support us up on YouTube at the Hoots Podcast. Make sure to hit the like button and smash that subscribe button as well. What's on my mind? A whole lot of things. Obviously, big transitional periods about to become a reality very soon. Got to make some big decisions in the next coming days and stuff like that. So I'll be able to give you guys some more concrete updates as far as my move to Florida. I'm excited for that. Very excited for that because I can't wait to get out of the city as soon as possible. So yeah, I'm excited for that. I have some internal decision making that I got to do in the next coming weeks and stuff like that. So it's kind of weighing on my mind, but not to the point where it's overwhelming me. So I'm focusing on what I need to focus on, enjoying what I need to do, and stuff like that. So that's been cool. I know this week's been a big discourse amongst the incels in the Wrestling Echo Chamber regarding Tony Khan's interview with Ariel Helwani. I'll give you my brief thoughts there, and I'm pretty sure I'll have to answer this again because I think Chris asked me this question in the Q&A part of the show. As far as my takeaways from Tony's interview with Ariel Helwani the other day, I'm not going to come on here and shit on it. I think people had a feeling over the years that I just predictably shit on AEW because I wanted it to fail or whatever, which has never ever really been the case. But I say enjoy, loved it, liked it. I don't know if I'm even there with that either. I mean, there's a lot of indifference that I carry myself right now these days when it comes to AEW. I don't hate it. I don't love it. It's just there. I watch the shows each week to, watch all types of wrestling. But not covering the shows is also kind of taking that luster out of me from AEW, to be honest with you. Not covering shows from AEW, I don't have that incentive to care about it as much, I guess, in a way. But also it's just the product itself that I'm just indifferent to. So when it comes to Tony doing this interview with Ariel Helwani, I wanted to check it out because obviously their first one went off the rails and it was a drizzling shit. So, part of me kind of enjoys that comedy where things go off rails and shit hits the fan. So you just want to see something go down. I thought for the most part, Tony carried himself in a good manner. I think this is probably one of the more polished and substantive interviews that he's done as the owner of AEW. And I'll give him credit where credit's due. He does a lot of media, and he gets the word out there for AEW. He does a lot of interviews and a lot of podcasts. And even if I disagree with decisions he's made over the years and stuff like that, and how he carries himself and the whole obsession with the Wrestling Observer stuff aside, I do respect the work ethic that he has, and that he's created a platform for people to have jobs and stuff like that. So I don't want anybody to take this away, go and say, Josh had a personal issue with Tony Khan. I never did, nor did I ever want AEW to fail. I just feel like the product itself is a dirt cheap vanity project, and nothing has changed since we stopped doing What the Hell is Wrong with AEW, which was more of a comedy response segment to the Wrestling Echo Chamber, and my colleagues who glaze and get on their knees for every little thing that AEW produces over the years. That was kind of the point of the segment. But when it comes to this interview exclusively, I thought it was good. I appreciate the insight, and it looks like finally, for the first time, he's focusing on what he needs to focus on, and that is AEW, not what other wrestling companies are doing. As far as Ariel's concerned, again, he does a great job. He's one of the best interviewers in the entire media landscape, so I'm not really surprised that he carried himself in a good manner. So if you guys want to go check it out, go out of your way. It's on Ariel Helwani's YouTube channel, or maybe you can find it on Yahoo with his Uncrowned website. So that was my takeaways from that. Some other things that I'm noticing, just, kind of looking at the landscape of my field and stuff like that. It's just like, I'm seeing SRS whining that we're getting Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns involved in a match again. Like, okay, don't come here whining about Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar when I have to see Orange Cassidy fight Jon Moxley every 3 other fucking months of the year. It's not the end of the world. Like, it's gonna be all right. Between that, I put out the tweet the other day where, like, I'm at this point, I don't know who's more obsessed with who or what topic. It's like, it's either Vince Russo and his obsession of shitting on Triple H every single week, no matter what show he does, or it's Brian Alvarez acting as Javon Evans is the greatest thing since sliced bread. And don't get wrong, I am a big fan of the Young OG, and I love covering his matches. He is awesome. But my God, you would think that Javon Evans should be a 10-time WWE champion by now, by the way Brian Alvarez talks about him. And just as predictable as I said on last week's episode of the Hoots Podcast, where I was saying, hey, don't let Brian Alvarez let you think that NXT is not a good show. He continues out with his little diatribe. Says, oh, the heels won a gold rush. The heels, all the heels won. My God, for a 50-year-old man, you sound like a fucking teenage girl, man. My God, man. It still amazes me in 2025 that when I think that Wrestling Observer has jumped the shark, they find new ways to even take another leap with that. It's just a drizzling shit of a website and a podcast and whatever they do on that outlet. It's just a waste of time. I don't know why people waste $14.99 on their product as a whole. Oh, you should take it as a badge of honor to have a vote for the Wrestling Observer Hall of Fame. I don't give a fuck about the Wrestling Observer Hall of Fame. I never have, nor I ever will. Well, I don't know. That is our monologue this week. We got a lot of other fun stuff to talk about this week when it comes to wrestling stuff. But when we come back, we'll get into it. Talk about what happened this week in WWE right here on episode 492 of the Hoots Podcast as the road to episode 500 continues. I'm Joshie. We'll be right back. Yeet. Welcome back, everybody, to episode 492 of the Hoots Podcast here on this Friday, November 21st, 2025. Let's talk about what happened this week in WWE before we get to Raw and SmackDown thoughts and our road to WarGames. I think the card, for the most part, is pretty much set from what we've seen over the past couple weeks in programming. John Cena celebrated his final appearance active as an in-ring competitor at Madison Square Garden this past Monday night for his final episode of Monday Night Raw on this John Cena retirement tour. And it was a special night at MSG. John was a guest on the Raw Recap podcast, and they recorded this a couple hours before the show went on the air. But I thought this interview was very reflective, but also poignant, and also had a lot of nuance to John's career and what could have been, what was, and what he wants to do on his way out, and why this retirement tour has meant a lot to him. I know there's been so much conjecture throughout this entire year from all my colleagues about whether or not this has been a good retirement tour or not, and yada, yada, yada. I loved it because I've been in the moment and wanted to enjoy what John wanted to do. It's not about what I wanted out of John Cena's retirement tour. It's what John wanted. And, Travis Scott aside, I'm not going to let Travis Scott get in the way of my enjoyment from what I've seen from John Cena. He's done good stuff, babyface or heel, and John Cena has 2 more appearances. We got Survivor Series next Saturday, and then it's it in DC on December 13th. So, cherish these moments, man. Don't take this shit for granted because, I think again, my colleagues just rely too much on the booking this, booking that, blah, 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 blah. That stuff really doesn't matter at the end of the day. What really matters is what you do with it and the impact that you have and being in the moment. And John Cena's retirement tour has been fun. You had to revisit of classics with Punk and Randy Orton and a lot of different challengers. The match with Cody at SummerSlam was one of the matches of the year. AJ Styles, the stuff he's doing with Dominic Mysterio recently, the Logan Paul match at Clash in Paris. I think this retirement tour has actually been a success. If you want to say on a separate accord that the heel turn itself was an abject failure or whatever, that's your subjective opinion. I'm not going to waste my time and energy arguing with you about it. What I will say, though, that the retirement tour itself has been a success in my opinion. So anyway, I'm done rambling. Here is John Cena appearing on the Raw Recap podcast with Sam and Megan the other night.
Thing must mean so much to you. This show must mean so much to you. I mean, we are, recording this 4 hours before the show goes on the air.
Yeah.
Are you processing yet that you're about to wrestle in Madison Square Garden?
Did you give Nate to ask this? We just talked about this. Stephanie McMahon's over there in the cloud somewhere. We just had a off-camera talk about all this. So what I'm hearing from that is the building is very important.
Right.
The show is very important.
Right.
So a lot of times I like to lens out. I think the significance of this building should never be lost on sports entertainment. I know that there are events that are bigger and bolder and can fit more people. But I believe we can learn a lot from history. And I think that every person in WWE should understand the history of this place. And that way when they're awarded the opportunity to stand on the canvas, this building shouldn't just mean something to me. And over the years, I've seen the importance kind of erode away, and I think it's got a resurgence now. And that makes me feel good, because this is a place where if you are allowed to perform here, you are a professional.
You're a lot of times when I hear you talking about stuff like this, it's from that bigger picture perspective. When we've spoken before, I think that's the perspective that you keep most of the time. But when you're doing this retirement tour, because when I think of you associated with Madison Square Garden, I think about the Royal Rumble, I think about the Survivor Series tagging with The Rock, I think about all these things that you did at Madison Square Garden, and I wonder if you've gotten to the point in this retirement tour where you are being self-reflective, thinking about your moments in these buildings, thinking about the fact that you, as the kid who grew up as a wrestling fan, who got to do this thing at the highest level and now embraces the title of greatest of all time, that's what's being celebrated is what you've done.
So thank you for the kind words. If you're asking if I'm in a reflective state, I'm ready to have a great show. And I don't want to be in any other position. Because I don't want to get, I want to keep my feet on the ground. I don't want to get lost in my own sauce. I want to be able to, there's 16,000 people that are going to be here tonight. I want to make sure they're happy. And if I'm the reason they showed up, boy, if I'm in a mind state other than that, we could wind up with them feeling not so happy. So I'll have plenty of time. I already told Steph we'll talk later on. We'll probably do another Raw recap, jortsless.
Unfortunately for us, but...
Unfortunately?
I love the jorts.
Thanks, man. I love them too.
So I was actually having this conversation on one of my shows about your
transition, because I get to duck the question. Love it. Yes, please.
About the jorts, okay? And I came to this realization today that I don't think in the history of wrestling, especially when you started wearing those jorts, that people would realize the significance of them. But I started, the wheels started spinning in my head, and I said, when The Undertaker retired, he said, where I draw the line is I won't have the dead man gear anymore. You won't see me in the dead man gear anymore. And that gear is so iconic to wrestling fans, to wrestling in general. I'll come out on the motorcycle. I'll be the American badass, but I won't wear the dead man gear. And I just had this aha thing that I feel like you may end up in the same position, which in turn then goes to this thing that for a period in your career might have been mocked by some fans. The John Cena jorts, to me, have reached the significance of The Undertaker's dead man gear.
So I appreciate that. A nugget that I appreciate out of that train of thought is the jorts were mocked. I think that's my takeaway on that is it's okay to be authentic. They are me, and I'm able to be confident enough in myself to weather the storm of criticism, and in many cases harassment and ridicule. As we reflect, or as a lot of people are reflecting on these moments, people are bringing up moments that meant a lot of positive stuff for me. I have been a very polarizing character in the WWE, and that's led to a lot of people's moments, some of those marquee matches and some of those moments have been very, very polarizing. To be able to wear a uniform that I felt comfortable in, a character I felt comfortable in, a lot of that thanks to Steph over there, and not waver when other people wanted to be pleased, not waver from what was in my heart, because my first run, my first try, I tried to please everyone else, and it was inauthentic. And when I got a chance to be a character, the stuff where I wanted to evolve the character, I still maintained my authenticity. And I think that's important for any long-standing success in here. You do good work, coachable, reliable, and you're invested. And I think the investment is passion. The passion can reflect authenticity. The jorts now are in whatever perspective they're in, because I just wouldn't give up on wearing them. I could take their best shot, their biggest ridicule, and still put forth great effort, be reliable, and do good work while wearing cut-off jeans.
There's one place where you're not polarizing whatsoever, and that's Boston, Massachusetts, where you
That's
won.
not true. It's not true. Again, we can learn a lot from history. I've had a lot of tough nights in Boston, Massachusetts. If you want to be more specific, we can say, with the data that we have, the final show in Boston, the final show in the TD Garden, where I was able to defeat Dom Mysterio for the Intercontinental title, they were happy to see me that night. But yes, Boston has been a very polarizing crowd for me over the years, and it's my own hometown. And that's them being their authentic self. It's a tough room. The TD Garden's a tough room to work.
But you weren't polarizing whatsoever last week when you became the Intercontinental Champion for the first time in your career.
How about that? How about that accolade right at the end?
Still making history.
Everybody's talking about that IC run Stone Cold had at the end.
At the very end.
DJ carrying the IC run late in his career. Taker with that late IC run. It's just one of the... How about that, right? Yeah. Here we are. Look at it. There it is.
You said it was going to be a year of stuff that nobody's ever done before. Nobody has ever won the IC title on their way out.
Just on that way out, But that's what an awesome opportunity. And I just came from Liverpool. Did 2 days there at a convention over the weekend, and so many people. Again, incredibly grateful for the ability to get in there with Dom Mysterio, who I respect and admire. He reminds me a lot of me, and he reminds me a lot of the mistakes I made. Like, I can see all of the mistakes that are about to happen with him, and I want to shake him and be like, you're going to do this, but I want him to learn for himself. But he is authentic, he's reliable, he works hard, and he's passionate about the business. He'll learn, he'll figure the rest out. But what a chance, in Boston to have a chance at a championship match. And because it's not what Stone Cold would do. Yeah. I'd like that match. It can be done your own way. There's no right way to be a success in this business. It's just take opportunities as they come. And I got a cool opportunity to do something special. And man, it was a special moment. So thank you for bringing that up.
It felt like it wasn't lost on you from the moment you walked in. Has there been any part on this run? Because sometimes you see that look in your eyes where it appears to me that the realization of, well, that was it. That was the last time in Boston. Kind of sets in. Like, you let the crowd react. You get filled with that, and you realize that was it. Especially as you've been having some of the best matches in your career against Cody Rhodes, against AJ Styles, against Logan Paul, against Sami. Like, these matches have been great to the point where some of us fans are going, I thought he said he couldn't go anymore. I'm pretty sure he can still go. Has there been any thought, when you work at the level that you've been working at, and you get the reactions now that you're finally getting, where you go, man, I wish I wasn't leaving in December?
No.
Really?
Yeah. And I think the thing that's helping me push myself across the finish line is there is no tomorrow. So I've always given everything I have. What I love, again, you're saying a lot of stuff. So what I love is hey, man, as a fan, I think you're having the best matches of your career right now. I have heard that through many phases of my career. I got to switch to the hip-hop John Cena, and then was put in a lot of matches to quote-unquote toughen myself up. I heard that then. And then the era of Super Cena happened, and then I got put with opponents who were supposed to be bad guys, but they loved him. The Punks giving Bryan Danielson a shot. Edge, hey, you're having some of the best matches of your career right now. Fast forward to the United States Open Challenge. Hey, man, you're having some of the best matches of your career right now. And then for you to be able to say that now means a lot, because if, you can pontificate of like, you should do X, Y, and Z. But I've always wanted to stay curious, and I've always wanted to leave the door open for a path of growth. You can never master sports entertainment. You can never master WWE. There's always something to learn. And me, with all this time under tension, I'm still learning and I'm still growing and I'm still trying to perfect my craft. And my body is beat up. It takes me a while to warm up for these matches, and it takes me a while to cool down. And I want to leave giving the audience that shows up being like, but you're doing the best work of your career. I will say that's helping push me across the goal line. That's keeping my mind fresh. I'm also working with talent that I've worked with before, that have had new opponents to work with, so they're bringing new ideas. I'm working with new talent. It's honestly, it's great in that regard, that there is that curiosity to still learn. I don't think that'll ever be extinguished, but I do have to listen to my health, and there's not one piece that is like, hey, it should go past December 13th. I know there's a lot of speculation there was at one point of like, oh, they're just going to run them through to WrestleMania because that's the end of everyone's story. That's just the end of everyone's story because that's the way everybody did it before me. I told everybody 15 months ago that I was going to do this. I told them I was going to do a year, and I'm going to do a year, and after this, it's done. And I don't say that as a bad thing. I say that as a collective, that I've been allowed to do this for 23 years at a very high output. And to hear you're having some of the best matches of your career in the 4th generation of installments that I've heard that, it validates that I'm not the only one who's exhausted. Every time I come through the curtain, I think everybody feels emotionally like, man, he gave us all he had. And I think, or at least I hope, after the 13th of December, people understand that that's all I'm trying to do. Just give it everything I got.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of legends in the business, their careers, their in-ring careers, end for a variety of different reasons. And not everybody gets to go out on their own terms. You set out 15 months ago to go on this retirement tour, and you're going to get to go out on your terms. How important is that to you?
So I don't want to, that's a perspective. I'm not going out on my own terms. If I could do this in infinity, I would do it. This is where I feel the most fluent. This is where I feel safe. This is where I feel at home. Yes, the audience has let me into their living room every week for 23 years, but they've also let me into their lives. And by going across the world and doing all these conventions and meeting all these fans, one fan at a time, hearing the stories of how me playing dress up and living my imagination and living my taking opportunities and trying to make it the best I can has affected their life. I want to do this for infinity, but I can't. So I want to make it specific, and I'm not going out on my own terms. I made a promise to the fan base when I started that when I got to step slower, I got to walk away. And the sad thing is, us as fans see that and be like, but you got so much left. Yeah, I could probably squeeze out more matches, but at what cost? I do harm to myself, I do harm to the product, and you as a fan who's allowed me the opportunity for over 2 decades to spend time with you, you leave feeling bad or sad. No, I want everyone to be happy, and moreover, I want to take the tail end of this thing, and I'm so glad about the tournament and about Saturday night's main event, and get everybody to look at the future of the business. Because I believe that's whatever energy was given to me, the veterans and old-timers gave me their energy and equity by teaching me and certainly doing honors. And forever the tradition has been, your last match, you kind of go out in your back and you do the honors and that's it. No, I think we can do more. I think we can take the eyes that care about showing up to our show and expose them to the future and what's next. And I love the Time Is Now tournament, that we have some way to earn the chance to qualify as my last opponent. And I really want to take my hats off to Triple H. I called him up. I said, I got an idea. We got to do 2 hours for the tribute show. And if you do a whole John Cena tribute, 2 things are going to happen. You're either going to do too much or too little. You're never going to please everybody. I would like to propose that we have big-name WWE superstars fight in exhibition matches versus the brightest in NXT. So that way we have a sold-out building. Hopefully the world's watching on Saturday night's main event. I get to wrestle one final time. But in doing that,
You also got...
All right. Good stop point there. You can find the rest of this interview with John with Sam and Megan on the WWE YouTube channel. Just find the Raw Recap podcast there. But very, very thoughtful and really in-deep thoughts with certain aspects when it came to this retirement tour as a whole. And especially that last part right there. He said it himself, yeah, technically it's not the way he wants to go out because he doesn't want to stop being a wrestler in his heart. But, you know, John is in a different period of his life and he's a prideful person and he doesn't want his swan song to be gone and give people a bad taste in their mouth. So I don't have enough words to describe how awesome I think John Cena is as a man and as a human being. I thought that was an awesome interview and some really, really, really wiseful things John just said there during that snippet there. All right, for this week in WWE, let's scale back a little bit to SmackDown because there was a couple things I wanted to put over, like Ilya Dragunov and Axiom. That U.S. Open Challenge match was fucking dope. That was a great match. We're going to get, obviously, to the whole WarGames build and stuff like that. But I have liked, and this was me hearing it's stuff from Raw as well, I like the stuff that's going on with the women's WarGames when it comes to, like, Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley and Alexa Bliss, where Charlotte's like, I can't do this. We have too much bad blood, and I don't want to be part of your team on SmackDown. And then on Monday, Alexa's cutting a pretty good promo, and you know, everybody was like, "Oh, where's the story? Where's the story?" Man, like JD from New York always is like, "Oh, where's the story? Where's the story, man? Where's the story, dude?" Well, when Alexa Bliss is trying to tell the story, you got fucking Nimrods in New York and MSG chain. What? Kind of defeats the purpose. You want a story to be told, but you want to let people cut a promo. Anyways, I like the attention to detail that they've been putting into the women's WarGames match. I said it last week when it came to the men's too. It's like, oh, it doesn't make sense. Every person in this match has a reason to be in there. No, Cody Rhodes being in the WarGames has nothing to do with the fact that nobody is ready to fight it for the championship. Drew McIntyre just attacked Cody during a match a couple weeks ago, and he was supposed to be suspended. They have issues with each other, so obviously there's unfinished business between the two. CM Punk and Roman Reigns have been feuding with Division the entire year. Logan Paul is trying to get a shot at the World Heavyweight Championship. Check. CM Punk doesn't like Logan Paul. Check. Brock Lesnar, lined with Paul Heyman, has history with Punk and Roman. Check. Usos, feuding with Division all year. Check. Too many people, my colleagues, is trying to act like they're the smartest person. Oh, this doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. Oh, see, this is not a prime example of WWE not building new stars, as if new stars are built in a 1 week span. It doesn't work like that. Look at the star power that's in this men's WarGames match, and you're coming here telling me, whining and crowing to me about, oh, they're not building new stars, It's a marquee WarGames match. Look at the star power in this match. Oh, by the way, Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed don't have the opportunity to become stars in this match. Logan Paul. I mean, golly, man. It's just like the insensitive bitchy, just the bitch. They're not even really watching the show. I listen to a lot of these wrestling podcasts, and part of me is glad that I'm making decisions to move on. And it's like, because you listen to these podcasts and they'll act like they're the smartest person in the room. They have the answers to all the feuds and all all the booking, right? They're not even paying attention to what actually happened on the show. They'll tell you straight to your face on camera or on audio that this didn't happen, that didn't happen. I look back at my transcript and it's like, yep, it's right there, it's right there, it's right there. It's just funny to me. Really quick, going back to SmackDown. We had the announcement that they're going to do a Survivor Series elimination match. Not tonight, but the following week. It's going to be Sammy, Nakamura, Rey Fenix, and the Machine Guns against the MFTs. So I think that should be pretty cool. Let's talk about the returns of Zack Ryder and Dolph Ziggler. Matt Cardona and Nick Nemeth were the surprise outside of WWE entrance in the John Cena's Last Time Is Now tournament. Very happy for both guys. Both had their different returns, and both of them felt cool in their own way, you know. Zack fighting LA Knight, I enjoyed the match. LA Knight won, and Zack is a testament of grit and grind, and you know, not staying down and like taking things into your own accord. I have a lot of respect for Matt Cardona, and I was happy for him to get that moment. You have a guy like Dolph Ziggler, who was IWC favorite, left WWE a couple years ago, got a massive reception at Madison Square Garden, and he did some good business with Solo Sikoa. Oh, Dolph Ziggler should have beat Solo Sikoa. Well, that kind of, again, just defeats the whole thing that I just said a couple minutes ago. Like, oh, they're not building new stars. Okay, let's have Dolph Ziggler come back and beat Solo Sikoa because, oh, the IWC doesn't like Solo Sikoa. Tell me how that makes any sense. So, Dolph and Zack came in, did some good business. I'm glad they were able to be involved in this tournament, and I thought it was pretty cool. Speaking of the tournament, Miz and Jey Uso gave a middle finger to the IWC as well, as far as people thinking that was going to be a crappy match. That actually ended up being pretty good. Jey Uso defeated The Miz. The others, like I mentioned, LA Knight defeated Zack Ryder on Raw for the Last Time Is Now tournament matches. It was, one second, it was Gunther beating Javon Evans. That's right. And then I'm trying to remember the second one from Raw that happened on Monday. It should be on the top of my head, too. What's going on here, Joshie? Let me look at my transcript really quick. It should be on there. Yeah, it was Gunther beating Javon Evans. And, oh yeah, Dolph Ziggler and Solo Sikoa. That makes sense, yeah. Anyways, I think they announced on Monday that Gunther would face either Carmelo Hayes and Bronson Reed. They're fighting each other tonight on SmackDown. So tonight's matches is Penta and Finn Balor, and then Bronson Reed and Carmelo Hayes for the men's, not the men's, for the Last Time Is Now tournament. So Gunther fight either Carmelo Hayes and Bronson Reed. And then I believe it says Solo Sikoa will fight either Finn Balor or Penta. Kind of looking like it's going to be Penta in that accord. But Finn and Penta is going to be a good match. I'm looking forward to it tonight. Also tonight on SmackDown, we got Fraxim and DIY. That's going to be a barn burner. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. SmackDown has some good matches tonight. We got the Chelsea Green Championship celebration. What will Cody Rhodes have to say after what we saw on on Monday, that crazy ass brawl? I should talk a little bit here about the whole stuff with John Cena. Really quick on the NXT tip, they had NXT Gold Rush this week, and they had Blake Monroe and Sol Ruka. Go check out that match. That was very good. Blake Monroe retained her NXT Women's North American Championship. JC Jane and Tatum Paxley, again, another barn burner. JC Jane became your 2-time NXT Women's Champion, so congratulations go out to JC. She joins the exclusive list of great performers there who become a 2-time Women's Champion in NXT, so that was pretty cool to see. They got good chemistry in the ring, and I think JC Jane is the most underrated wrestler in the business today. I have no problem saying that. I truly believe JC Jane does not get enough flowers from my colleagues, and she's dope. She's tremendous, and not too bad to look at, to be honest with you. John Cena kick off the show. We got the announcement that John Cena will be fighting Dominic Mysterio at WarGames for the Intercontinental Championship. Dominic gets rematch in his home turf at Petco Park in San Diego, California. I'm very curious to see the layout for this stage at Petco Park. I'm excited for WarGames. I think they sold already over 30,000 tickets or something like that, which is pretty cool. I'm excited to see the layout for this PLE next Saturday. And then they also announced that the Elimination Chamber is coming to the United Center on February 28th, 2026. It's just funny that Chicago has a pay-per-view at the United Center just as I'm getting ready to move out of the city. This is perfect timing, you know. But I think that's cool for the city that we're getting Elimination Chamber. I think that's awesome. What was I going to say? John Cena's final Raw at Madison Square Garden. We had the John Cena Sheamus Rey Mysterio match against the Judgment Day. That was a lot of fun. The 30 beats of the Moderator, I thought that was an awesome spot. The 15 knuckle shuffle. It was a pretty good match. Even Judgment Day had like a fire sequence. They hit all three of their signature moves for a false, for like a 2 count there, and then the babyfaces got to do the same thing towards the end of the match, and John Cena got to go out as a winner in his final Monday Night Raw ever. So that was a pretty cool moment. And then, of course, we had the face-off with the men from Division against Team CM Punk. Star power after star power. Out comes Brock Lesnar as all hell's breaking loose at ringside, and Brock Lesnar's cleaning house. Then comes Roman Reigns. Music hits just when you think the show's about to go off the air. He drops Brock with a Superman punch. Reigns trying to steal the spotlight from Roman because they've been feuding with each other all year. I heard another complaint the other day. It's like, oh, why is Roman Reigns in this match? Yeah. Did we forget that Bronson Reed defeated Roman Reigns at Crown Jewel? Did we forget about that? Or was that just me? Was I supposed to put a blind eye to that? Yeah, people just say shit these days. But I like how they intertwine a lot of these different feuds into each other, into this men's Wrestling match. It's going to be awesome. All 10 guys are awesome in their own accord in the ring. So that was an awesome way to wrap up the show. I believe Roman and Brock will be on Raw this Monday in Oklahoma City, so that should be pretty cool. Obviously, they'll have the men's and women's WarGames advantage matches in this coming week of Raw and SmackDown. Right before Thanksgiving, man. So we're already at the holiday season. It's crazy. But that is pretty much it for my takeaways. Oh, one last thing. I do have to give my guy Obafemi some love, man. He cut one of the best promos I've heard all year from all wrestling shows. Obafemi, Ricky St. Simon from NXT this week was awesome. Obafemi's promo was tremendous. I'm so glad he's back on TV. He was back from the motherland. The Woola is back. But, folks, that is what happened this week in WWE. When we come back, we'll answer your questions for this week's edition of the Back Porch Q&A session right here on episode 492 of the Hoots Podcast as our countdown to our final episode. Episode 500 continues. We'll be right back. Yeet. All right. One more segment to do here on the podcast of Hoots this week. Time to answer your questions for this week's edition of the Back Porch Q&A session. If you want to participate in the Back Porch Q&A session, all you have to do is hit me up at Twitter at the Hoots Podcast or the Hoots Podcast at gmail.com. All right, folks, let's do it. Throw it up. Throw it up for the good brother Chris Zaletta at XCeneZaletta24X at the Twitter machine. Here's our questions from Chris this week. He says, "What up, Boost? Here's some questions for the Q&A this week. Your thoughts on both WarGames matches and the finished field of them both." Well, we're not done just yet. But one thing I did forget to mention from Raw this week in WWE was Maxine Dupree. Congratulations to Maxine capturing the Women's Intercontinental Championship thanks to help from AJ Lee. There was so much stuff that happened on Raw this past Monday that I forgot to mention that in the segment. Like, congratulations to Maxine. Awesome moment for her. Really has busted her ass off to get this moment, so I was happy to see her get that. Good tie-in. Obviously, you think they'll get AJ and Becky into opposite sides of the women's WarGames match as well. So, all in all, like I said in the segment, I think the men's WarGames match shapes up perfectly, given all guys' history with each other in that particular match. And that's just going to be a car crash. It's going to be awesome, and I'm looking forward to it. Favorite match from night one of Gold Rush? Great question. It's tied because I really, really liked that Blake Monroe and Sol Ruka match. I thought that was very, very good. Man, it's tough. I got to go with JC and Tatum just because of the story. And the match itself was really, really good. But you can call it predictable, you call it whatever you want, but Izzy Dane, Classy, Tatum, Paxley was the right call. And I really enjoyed that main event. That was really, really good. So that was a good match. Your thoughts on the Ryder and Ziggler returns? I thought it was cool. I was happy for both guys. They did what they needed to do. They got awesome receptions from both crowds. I mean, I'll be honest with you, that crowd in Albany, New York last week on SmackDown was ass. That crowd was brutal. That crowd sucked. So, contrasted that to the crowd that reception that Ziggler got on Raw on Monday at Madison Square Garden. That was pretty cool. So I'm happy for both guys, and they served their role in this tournament, in my opinion. Did you think the Bears would be first in the division before the season started? No, I didn't, but I'm going to enjoy, as I've been saying all year, I'm just taking this 1 week at a time, and it's cool. They're 7-3 now, and we'll see how the rest of the season goes. But no, I did not expect them to be in first place right now. I didn't. Favorite Thanksgiving dessert dish? Dessert, that's a good question. Dessert. Because you have to be specific, right? For me, if it's served, I prefer brownies. If you want my opinion, if I wanted dessert, I'd probably go with brownies. That would be my pick. And if it was like a side dish for regular Thanksgiving with the meal and stuff, I'll go with macaroni and cheese. But that's just me. Your thoughts on TK's interview with Ariel Helwani? I thought it was good. I thought Tony carried himself well. I think there's some weird anti-WWE slant that I've been getting from Ariel Helwani with his guests and his interviews as of late. I don't know if he has an issue with the company or something, but it seems like all his questions towards WWE are negative these days. So I don't know what that's all about. But besides that, for the most part, that was a good interview. So it was what it was. It's not something where, Tony Khan's interview with Ariel got me more excited about AEW. AEW is still AEW. So I'm just indifferent towards the stuff that they're putting out right now, but I don't want it to fail. I don't want it to go anywhere. But I thought it was a good interview, and Tony didn't carry himself like a mark. So we're making progress. Does WarGames start to build towards Braun versus Brock? I don't know. That's a good question because I don't think so. I don't. There's a lot of different things that can happen here with Brock. Yeah, maybe Braun accidentally spears him or something like that. But, if it's something where Brock and Drew's history get in the way of each other. Is it something where if Brock Lesnar wins the WarGames match, does he get a shot at Cody Rhodes and the WWE title at the Royal Rumble? I have no idea. But, yeah, I think on paper you would love to have Braun Breaker and Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. I think that'd be awesome, but I'm not there yet with WrestleMania. That's not on my mind right now. I'm not. I think you guys should know me by now that I'm not that big into the whole fantasy booking crap. So, no, I'm not there yet. Last question. Do you think anybody will help Tatum Paxley with her calling problem? Well, I'm sure you have, like, Lola Vice and you have women on the roster like that. Now that the issues with the calling, I think Tatum will have, like, Hank and Take be your support system and stuff like that, but outside of that, because of Izzy, I think Tatum has to do this on her own. So, I'm curious to see how they go with that feud. I'm glad they went with the decision. It's just something where you put both of them in the Women's Iron Survivor Challenge match. That would make things interesting, but I think obviously we'll get down the road where Izzy and Tatum will have a one-on-one stipulation match with each other, and I think it'll be pretty dope, actually. So, I don't know. I want to thank Chris for the awesome questions this week. As always, he does a great job. And make sure to follow him at Twitter, at the Hoots Podcast, at XTeamZaletta24X on the Twitter machine. As always, you can follow yours truly on the Twitter machine, at the Hoots Podcast. I'm on X at the Hoots Podcast, Instagram at Joshie Lopez Music. If you want to follow us on YouTube, we appreciate the support. Make sure to hit that like button and smash the subscribe button as we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Right now, we're at 920 as of this recording. So, folks, we're literally at 80 subscribers away on YouTube to get to 1,000. So, if we can get that before episode 500, that would be awesome. Speaking of episode 500, if you want to participate in episode 500 and send me any audio shout-outs or goodbyes to the podcast, send those in an MP3 file at the Hoots Podcast or the Hoots Podcast at gmail.com. I appreciate your support on that end. If you want to check out my transcript work, make sure to check out all my work in the results section of WrestlingHeadlines.com or my own website, ProWrestlingTranscriptions.com. And don't forget, the home of the Hoots Podcast is Odyssey, so we appreciate the good folks at Odyssey for having us and giving us their platform to share our content each and every single week. And get the podcast anywhere you want. Just type in the Hoots Podcast in the Google search engine, and it'll help you out there. And lastly, it's certainly not least, I want to tell everybody as I sign off for every edition of the Hoots Podcast for the last 10 years, folks, be the authentic product that is yourself. And remember, as always, don't let anybody dictate the face of your life or yourself and the man upstairs. I love each and every single one of you. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Thanksgiving's right around the corner. The holiday season's coming up soon, so I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Don't forget to hit that like button and smash the subscribe button on YouTube. We really do want to get those to 1,000K because that'd be awesome. I mean, we've been doing this show for 10 years. I think we deserve at least 1,000 subscribers before we put this show to bed. But for everybody, I'm Joshie. This has been episode 492 of the Hoots Podcast. Countdown to episode 500 continues. We go from 8 now to 7. We have 7 more episodes left. We're going to go out with a bang, as always. And I love each and every single one of you. And we'll be here to preview Survivor Series WarGames next week, right here on the Hoots Podcast. Love y'all. Yeet.
Bye-bye, bitch.